Here's some news you might have missed on the Bible Forum this week. When you look around at these campaign things that are going on, you see a campaign stopped by Bernie Sanders. What do you see? Well, what you see is that there are no older people in those crowds. This is largely a 20-something or 30-something crowd. And you got to ask yourself, why are so many younger voters enamored of old Bernie Sanders? He's older than I am. The Iowa caucus, which is one of the first in the nation, exposed this giant chasm. Sanders won 84% of the under 30 vote. He also dominated in the 30 to 44 category with 58% versus Hillary's 37%. And the question becomes, who are these people? Well, they're millennials. Young people born in the 1980s, 1990s. They're the children and the grandchildren of baby boomers. They're born to opulence, nurtured on permissiveness, with little or no experience in the critical area of cause and effect. They're not Democrats. No. They're socialists. They're called Sandinistas, and they outnumber Hillary supporters 6-1 in the polls. Former Professor Mark Paston, writing in the Weekly Standard, says, quote, "The most compelling explanation for young Democrats' overwhelming preference for Sanders is that young voters actually like the idea of socialist revolution." And why not? They've been raised on the Great Society, a host of means-tested social programming, socialized health care, subsidized college loans, paid job training, a government program for just about every need you can think of. They know nothing of self-sufficiency or what we used to call the Protestant work ethic. In short, they're socialists. They're not capitalists at all. Where did they come from? Well, they came from homes in which parents left the nurturing and educating of their children to the state. Homes where they were indoctrinated by a federal education system, a vulgar media, and a limitless, unmonitored internet. Homes devoid of basic rigors of life. Like what? Like being accountable for their actions. Like having to be a contributing member of that family. Like having responsibility to care for pets, cut the grass, do the laundry. Like the difficult lessons of cause and effect, good and bad. Like reaping what you sow. Fully half of our population is unfamiliar with any of these principles. They've grown up being 2-year-olds, the center of attention, coddled, responsible for nothing, expecting everything to be handed to them. And we wonder why Bernie's socialism is so attractive. The fact that he's never made any progress with this philosophy over the last 25 to 35 years he's been in office never seems to matter to anybody. The idea that these socialistic programs and ideals have never worked anywhere in the world, anytime they've ever been tried, doesn't occur to anybody. They have no historical context, these young people, thanks to our federal indoctrination system. We used to call it a public school. We've seen the man on the street interviews of college students. Ask them anything you want about U.S. history and they just draw a blank. Why is America here? Upon what was it founded and why? How does our system work? Why does it work that way? None of that matters. And if it did, then schools would teach it and young people would know it. But they don't. And they don't.